Hello boys and girls. Well, after doing developers commentary, a game that I created myself, this time just some players commentary for a commercially released game. Although the episode I will play in this particular video was released for free as a kind of demo, and of course you could buy the other episodes. The game that I'm going to play today is Wolfenstein 3D. Now, before I begin, a few notes. The game is highly controversial due to the depiction of Nazi symbolism, in particular portraits of the Führer, and of course numerous swastikas, in German Hakenkreuzes, all over the game, as the game takes place during the Second World War in a castle owned by Nazi Germany. So it was of course to be expected. It did lead to the game also being banned in several countries, among which Germany, or so I've been told. Well, if you are from any country where this game is banned, I won't stop you from watching this video, but I won't take any responsibility at all if you are now watching banned stuff. Well, that being said, let's just get into the game, shall we? Well, a nice hardware overview, or as far as you can speak of hardware, as I am playing this game in DOSBox, which happens to be an emulator, but who gives a damn? This warning pops up because I'm now, although I'm starting the free episode right now, this is the full version of the game. Yeah, and this is their own rating system due to the high level of violence in the game. You must take in mind the time in which this game was released. I don't remember which year exactly that was, but back in the day we had no rating system for games. It was always assumed that all computer games were merely for children. And this was one of the first games actually focusing on a more mature audience. And such stuff as sexuality, violence, and fearful stuff, and all those kinds of things, yeah, became more prominent in games. And in this particular game, it's of course most of all violence. And that is why they came up with their own kind of warning for the violent content. It was pretty much a thing back in the day. What makes this game, of course, also controversial, those who are a bit up to their history in Nazi Germany should have recognized the title song. That song. I now only sing it for reference. It was the national anthem of Germany during the time of the Nazi regime. The song has therefore also been banned. At least in several countries, I don't know in all countries, and like I said, now I only sung it for the reference. It's not that I am in big support of the Nazi ideology. Well, let's just go for 6 episodes. Now, there is a little bit of a strange thing here, because the name of the third episode, Die Führer, Die, suggests that you would fight Hitler himself there, which is actually the case. I will of course show that when I'm going to record that episode. But as the Second World War ended with Hitler's death, there would be no more content behind it. The episode 4, 5 and 6 actually take place before the events of episode 1. However, I started episode 1, that was of course the free episode and the first episode to appear. These missions are considered prequels. There's also a commercial release of Wolfenstein, or fully commercial in a separate game, The Spear of Destiny, and that even takes place before A Dark Secret. Yeah, it's to make sure that you keep it in mind. Well, let's go for the first episode. Now I will play most episodes on the easiest difficulty setting. That is merely because I become a bit rusty over time. The first one I will do at the hardest. That is the episode I played the most. It took me some while before I played the full version first. So I know that episode best, so I think I can handle the hardest difficulty setting pretty well here. What is the big difference between the 4 difficulty settings, and why can you only select them at the beginning of the game? Well, simply put, it's not only that the enemies are more aggressive based on the chosen difficulty settings, but the number of enemies is also a significant bit higher in the higher difficulties. There is no difference in the number of enemies with Can I Play Daddy and Don't Hurt Me. Only in Don't Hurt Me they are a tiny bit more aggressive. Bring 'Em On has a significant number of more enemies, and Death Incarnate has the maximum number of enemies. Well, let's just get into the game. Now this dead soldier in front of me is lying there for storyline reasons. I'm not going to show you the storyline setting, as it is just a document that has been put in the game. The story starts when you were captured after completing your 3 missions that took place in the prequel missions, and you were sent into Castle Wolfenstein unarmed, waiting your execution. However, you did manage to snatch the knife of one of the soldiers, to kill him with it, and after that snatch his gun and 8 bullets, and that is the setup setting. So basically the guard lying dead in front of me was that guard that I am supposed to have killed, so that I can finally escape. And this would then of course be my cell. Id Software has apologized for the very poor pronunciation of the German language. The guards were of course supposed to speak German, they are German after all. Now that is of course no language. What they said when they see me, it sounds a bit like it was supposed to mean halt, which is, well, basically the German word for halt or stop. The full verb would be halten, and in this particular form would be halt. That what is supposed to mean halt will always be said by these brown uniformed soldiers. They are supposed to depict the real unit of the Nazis, the Sturmabteilung, better known under the letters SA. And I don't know if there is an English version of that, but in Dutch, the soldiers of the Stormabteilung were also known as the Bruinhemden, which roughly translates to brown shirts. I guess that is, considering the color of their uniform, a pretty obvious name. Now, not everything about this game is historically correct, of course. I believe those helmets were historically correct. And I am not really an expert on battle equipment, but it seemed that those helmets were very poorly designed, leading to that more German soldiers died thanks to the helmet design than was strictly necessary. I don't know if that story is true, somebody told me that once. I will need an historian to either debunk or confirm that story. Secret passages. There are a high load of them in the entire game. This particular level I will likely find them all. Each episode also contains a secret level. And in the 3 episodes, that already happens to be in the first level. And yes, I will show that secret level to you, how to find it and how to complete it. Sterben Sie bitte. Yeah, I thought I'd ask politely. Here's another secret passage. Paintings on the wall are always a good idea to check. Most of them do not contain secret passages, but a lot of secret passages are hidden that way. Unfortunately, by far not all of them. Treasures, nice 4 points. Now, of course, the game that is considered to be Wolfenstein's successor is of course Doom. I do know that the entire concept of treasures for points was in the first concept of Doom, but that it was removed in a later stage of development. And thus, in Doom, there is no score. Now, I do not know why the developers made that decision. You will really have to ask someone who was on the development team of Doom why they came up with that. Now, this was one of the first-person shooters that was an actual commercial success. It was not the very first first-person shooter, not even by id Software. They also made Catacombs 3D, which is using the same kind of 3D renderer, only then for EGA, and therefore only featuring 16 colors. The one used in Wolfenstein is based on VGA and therefore using 256 colors. Well, this elevator will lead me to level 2, but I already told you there are secret levels. I'm going to open them. When it comes to EGA and VGA I may tell more, but let's first open the way to the secret passage. Yeah, these mirrors, as I like to call them, or extra life spheres. When you get them, you will get an extra life and your health will be back at 100%. And they count as a treasure. Why is that important? Well, you will see as soon as I flip the switch and enter, in this case, the secret level. The ratios show how much of the level I actually completed. Well, I did 8 full minutes to this. I can do this shorter, but as I have been talking a lot too, I took a wee bit longer. You get extra bonus based on the time you did, if you are under the part-time. I do not know how the bonus is exactly calculated to that. And 10,000 points for each ratio that you get to the full 100%. Kill ratio is of course how many of the enemies have been killed. Since that is 100%, that means that I killed every enemy. Secret ratio is of course the number of secret passages. 100%, so that means that I also got them all. And treasure ratio is of course the treasures that I snatched. All secret levels are marked as level 10. So that makes it easy. Let's save the game here. There is of course a quick save feature. However, the first time that you actually save will still show you the full menu, as the game wants to know which slots you want to use. In this room we will meet a new enemy I haven't met in level 1.
Mein Leben!
Now I was shooting pretty fast, making it hard to hear what he said, but he actually said Sustaffel. Now I do not really know what the word Sustaffel means. I know that it was the name of the elite forces of Adolf Hitler himself.
Oh! Mein Leben!
And mein Leben, what the blue guards will yell when they die, means my life in German. Now when it comes a bit to history, I'm not claiming to be an expert on the Second World War, but I do know a tiny bit of it. The Sturmabteilung was at the beginning of the Second World War the most important army for Hitler. However, even in Nazi Germany itself, Hitler already had some controversy at a very early stage of the war, which is only to be expected. That was just stupid because I knew that this would happen. So, back to my story. Anyway, the leaders of the Sturmabteilung were said to have a bit of, well, a too big mouth towards Hitler, and Hitler actually grew dead tired of him, and he was not alone. More people within his government were pretty upset about the critics they received of the leaders of the Sturmabteilung. And basically a more new unit, which does, as far as I know, to be founded most of all to do some dirty jobs, was then formed in the form of the Schustaffel. The personal bodyguards of the Führer himself, but also in in charge of doing the dirty jobs, and one of them would have been to murder the leaders of the Stormabteilung. Now, my old man, who happens to be a history teacher, retired by now, but still a history teacher, he told me that the event in which the leaders of the Stormabteilung were murdered is in Dutch known as the Nacht van de Lange Messen. Roughly translated to English, that means the Night of the Long Knives, referring to the weapon used to kill them. The Schustaffel would, however, eventually grow out to be Hitler's elite forces. And of course, since the Schustaffel was eventually in the war in higher regard than the Stormabteilung, it only stands to reason that the developers of Wolfenstein chose for it to make the Schustaffel soldiers stronger than their Stormabteilung counterparts. What is not historically correct is the uniform of the Schustaffel soldiers. That is blue in this game. The real Schustaffel uniforms were black. There are some later versions of Wolfenstein in which this is corrected. And of course, I have been calling the Schustaffel unit by its full name, but it is of course more commonly known as the SS. Now, I'm not really an expert on how to software-matically create the first-person view that is used in this game. As far as I understand it, they used a technique called ray tracing. But I did read in an interview that the developers of Wolfenstein were already aware that a binary space partition, abbreviated as BSP, would not only be faster, but also create better results. But they admitted that they were a bit lazy at the time. Of course, the first game, at least by id Software, that would be entirely based on the binary space partition is Doom. As a matter of fact, we already see it pretty well in the tools that you need to use to create the node information and other kind of stuff a Doom level needs. Those tools are often called BSP, or have at least BSP in their names. Now, this is also a secret passage, but I will come back to that later. You must be aware, many guards respond to the sound of your gunshots. However, they did put in some guards who will only react when they see you. We call those deaf guards, since deaf people can't hear. That was not a bug, that was done on purpose to add some extra difficulty. The deaf status is also pretty commonly known as the ambush setting. And well, ambushing is of course what the entire idea of Death Guards was about. Basically, this secret passage is nothing more but a shortcut. That is something that you should always be aware about. There could be guards behind you, especially in certain levels designs in which the secret level of this episode was set up. This has a bit of a nasty design. Most levels in the free episodes do not really have such sneak ups, but in the later episodes that will really haunt you. One of the reasons why I also prefer not to play those episodes on the highest difficulty setting. Two elevator doors. Well, I can tell you this, one of them is a trap and one of them is the actual exit. I am going to open the trap. I will just fall for it deliberately. But before that, let's first make sure there are no enemies in this room, and I know there are two. Those members of the Schuhstaffel. Now the crown is the treasure that has the highest point value for picking one up. You have seen my number of lives going up. Since I work with save games, that does not really matter, and Doom also features unlimited lives for that reason. Since they already know most people are saving like crazy. But the maximum number of lives is 8. The maximum number of bullets is 99, and of course of health 100%. Well, I say of course, since in Doom you can get over 100% and to 200. Well, this is the real exit, and this is the fake one. But I told you I would deliberately spring the trap.
Mein Leben! Mein Leben!
I think I should have all of them now. If you play in the easiest mode, there will be only one soldier behind that door. But remember, I am playing this now at the highest difficulty setting. This time, no kill ratio, secret ratio, and treasure ratio, also no time and bar time. Secret level completed, that's all. 15,000 bonus points. That only goes for the secret levels, and basically the boss levels, there you also won't get any bonus points. Technically speaking, the game will regard them as secret levels, but that is more a developer's point, as you will never see that they are counted as such, but it is nice to know. Well, let's save the game. Yeah, I should have killed that guard first. Then he would be standing with his back to me. Ha ha ha. Very cowardly to shoot a guard in that position. But this is not a game for heroism, this is just a game of getting out of here. Heroism is in the eye of the beholder. Remember that. There's a lot about heroes that I did tell you in history class. And with guards from the Stormabteilung, the Schuhstaffel, and of course the dogs, we won't get any new enemies apart from the boss enemy, but the boss enemy won't appear before level 9. Yeah, rooms can be connected somehow.
Mein Leben!
Although I have designed a few Wolfenstein levels myself with a level editor, and I found out that the trick is actually that each empty spot is just a tile that has been made invisible and passed through so that you don't see it. But there are multiple of these kinds of tiles, called floor tiles. You won't see the difference, but when you are standing on floor 1 and you shoot, then all the guards standing on floor 1 will activate. If you shoot while standing on floor 2, then all the guards on floor 2 will react, and none of the other floors. There is a little bit of trick. The doors work as connectors. When I'm standing on floor 1 and I open the door connecting to floor 2 and I will shoot then, even though I'm standing on floor 1, all the guards on both floor 1 and floor 2 will be activated. Now the deaf guards have their own designated floor. The floor codes are also used for the guards seeing you. And you may see a few poor design levels in which sometimes does not only turn out the guards to be deaf, but also to be completely blind. A guard standing on a deaf tile must be connected to a floor tile. You must be on the same floor tile or be on a floor tile connected by an open door. Otherwise it won't activate. The reason for that is simply that having all the guards to be checked if they should activate or not by line of sight would really slow down the game. So by limiting in that to only the guards standing on the same floor as you do, and therefore regarded as being able to see you, they win a lot of performance. In the VSP based games such as Doom and Air Attack and Hexen and well, you know the entire series. There it would of course not work based on floors. Then it works based on sectors and how the sectors are connected and how there are walls between, and etc, etc, etc. Having this to be calculated in the game itself would also be really eating on the memory and on your CPU performance. So basically the node builder checks this data from which sectors it would be possible that the enemy could see you. And if Sector 1 and Sector 2 would be separated from each other by a very thick wall and no way to look around that, then there would be a reject bit between Sector 2 and Sector 1. And if you have ever taken a look at the WAD files that Doom has, and you have often wondered what that file reject in the map's means, well, then you know now, as the reject file is merely the data from which sector you would be able to see another sector, and which sector should be rejected from. From other sectors, and a line of sight would definitely not be possible from there. Pre-generating that data really saved a lot of loading times and CPU usage and memory usage, which was back in the day really a big issue. Well, in the meantime, while I have been talking, I have just completely wiped clean an optional part. And here we have the chain gun, the best weapon you can get. However, I prefer only to use it when I am really in a desperate need for it due to being outnumbered by enemies and against bosses. While it is true that it's a downright killer, the regular machine gun that I'm using now is a lot friendlier on my ammo usage. These dead plants are really something you need to watch out for, because from far away they are not easy to distinguish from Stormabteilung soldiers. And yes, there are some levels in which the game creators abuse that fact, and in the levels I created myself, I also use that as a kind of a dirty trick. Now, the levels I created myself are not particularly good. I was a teenager back then, mind you. It was already a miracle for me that I could get a Wolfenstein level to work back at the time. But hey, I had fun with them back then. Now, one tip, I now used a medipack, but actually it would have been wiser if I let it be. After all, a medipack always gives 25 extra % of health, but it won't ever go past 100. So basically anything more is wasted. So sometimes you can do better by leaving the medipacks be. And take them if you are even lower in health. After all, a medipack that has been taken cannot be taken again. And if eventually you may need them, especially when you are pretty green in this game. This part that I am in now is an optional part. There are loads of them in many Wolfenstein levels. Why would they do that? Of course, to give you the opportunity to have more exploration. A bit more freedom, so to speak. But also, you have to remember that the game creators try to give you the idea that you are truly going through an existing building. And buildings are, of course, never made to act like a game ground. Unless you enter an escape room, but mostly the buildings themselves are not made for that either, but later designed for their escape process by the owner of the escape room. Now, and this door leads to the way to go. And I can already show you a bit of a mistake in the level design here. This room now looks completely deserted. Well, actually, when you get here during the easy mode, there would actually be guards waiting for you. What did happen here? This effect. Well, they placed too many guards in them, and those guards were walking around, and they got stuck into one another, and then the game will just leave them there forever until they are activated normally. So they are now all here. That's all. And most likely even in this alcove. Now, I didn't mention it, as there was also a door like this in the secret level. Shut up, you. But this door won't open. It's locked. I do need a key in order to open it. Well, the key is now pretty close by. In this free episode, I refuse to say shareware, as the game developers use that term wrong. But that aside, in the free episode, you only have the gold key. If you have the full version of the game, then you will also have silver keys. And of course, a door requiring a gold key won't open to the silver and vice versa. So then you may have to find both keys in order to finish a level. This is not the case in all levels there. And there may even be some levels in which collecting the keys is optional. Now, before I hit the elevator, I am first gonna seek out if there are some medipacks or food trays. And I think it's pretty clear why. since I messed up a little. Oh, wait a minute. I'm of course in a German castle here, so I must say that in German. Ich habe es ein bisschen vermasselt. If you really want to hear me do full commentary, there are videos here on YouTube in which I am playing Tomb Raider with completely German commentary. And since my mastery over the German language is downright terrible, or schrecklich, I'm quite sure that German-speaking people will be either annoyed by my German or will have a big laugh. But hey, the only way to learn a new language is by actually speaking it. So those videos were actually for me nothing more but a bit of training in the German language. And yes, I am planning to do a few more videos. I'm not quite sure if this particular game with German commentary would be a good idea, but let me know in the comments below if you are from the German speaking community, if you want me to do this game with German commentary or not, and perhaps some reasons why, as I think that for me as a Dutch I'm not the right person to decide. When it comes to these matters, I'd like to talk with people and not about people, if you know what I mean. Now a little fun fact, while I'm trying to look up for one last medipack, when I don't think I will find one, and well, 59 is high enough. But there have been a few Germans who asked me if it is true that the Dutch, of which I am of course one, really hate the Germans so much. Well, I can't deny that there is a lot of rivalry between the Dutch and the Germans. That is absolutely correct, and it is most notable during both the European Championships and the World Championships in soccer. As then the supporters of both teams are always ridiculing one another. It appears to be a bit part of the soccer tradition. The reason why I say soccer and not football is to make sure that everybody knows that we are talking about the same game. Since American oddly use the term football for a game that you play with your hands. And I'm not a soccer fan anyway, so I really don't care. Well, level 3. Not much to say about it. So let's just continue my story about if it is true that the Dutch hate Germans so much. Well, I can say that there are a lot of jokes clearly implying this. A really in-your-face joke that implies this might be a picture of a lake. And in front of the lake is a sign. And the sign is written in 4 languages. And the sign says: verboden te zwemmen, het water is giftig. Nager interdit. L'eau est poisonneuse. No swimming allowed. The water is poisonous. Willkommen, das Wasser ist herrlich. Anyone who knows any of the all the 4 languages will know that in German something completely different was written compared to the other 3 languages. A nice secret passage. Now, of course, I don't like saying this, but honesty requires me to say that Germans are actually hated in, well, nearly all of Europe, not just in the Netherlands. Eastern Europe in particular, and many people actually think that this is due to the Second World War. Actually, that is not true. Of course, the Second World War didn't help to get the Germans a better reputation. And it definitely made the German reputation worse than it already was. But the truth is that the hatred actually goes back from before the two world wars, even before the current German nation was actually founded. Before Germany was founded, there was the Prussian Empire, which was already known for its, shall we say, grandeur, and trying to fight many of the other countries in order to gain more power. And the hate is most likely to be a leftover from that one. Of course, after Germany was founded, I'm pretty sure that the two world wars did not help to make the reputation of Germany any better. But I have actually been told that if I would ever visit one of the Slavic countries, and this story is, by the way, from the time of the Soviet regimes, often mistaken for socialism and communism, which has actually pretty little to do with those regimes. They only used those words as a kind of guise, but their philosophies were actually the opposites of what socialism stands for. But then again, we all also know the story of religions of peace and harmony completely covered in blood, so it's a bit of the same thing. Nothing wrong with the philosophy itself, but by the people who are claiming to carry them out. But anyway, if you would go to those countries, most people there would have German as their second language. But still, it would be advised not to speak to them in German at first. And when they think you are German, even when you are not, then they would actually ignore you as much as possible. Or maybe respond rather rude to you. That is, if they respond at all. And mostly, if you try another language, like English or French, so that they at least notice that you are not German, then they will mostly ask you if you speak German, and if you do, continue the conversation in the German language. But at least they know that you are not German yourself, but merely master the language, and that is good enough. Of course, I do not know how much of that is true. I did visit Yugoslavia when it was still Yugoslavia. The country no longer exists, of course. The part of Yugoslavia that I was in is these days Slovenia. And I do know, I was just a boy, I think, 8 or 9 years old. So I was too young to understand the full political situation there. However, I do know that when my old man did need to discuss things with the locals, that he would always address them in English first, And as soon as he convinced them that he was actually Dutch and not German, then continued the conversation in the German language. So, of course, when it comes to the question if the Dutch hate the Germans, well, I would say it really depends on the Dutch person you speak. I, for example, really don't care about you being German. Of course, if I meet a German, you may tell me everything you know about German. I am really interested in foreign cultures, and of course, if you are willing to help me with mastering the German language, hey, then I'm all ears. That is, it's not that I don't care about Germany itself, the German language, and the German history. It is just that I don't care in the way I judge you, which country you are from. It's just as long as you know either the Dutch or the English language, or German, then we can communicate. I solely judge people by how they make an impression on me. If they are judging by nature, or if they treat me like I'm an idiot, then I won't mind in taking on the role of that idiot. And if you are downright rude, then I will really turn into an asshole. And some people on the internet may have noticed that already. Most people who think I'm an asshole merely found out that that if they really had self-reflection, then I only acted that way because they acted pretty much like an asshole to me. And if there is one lesson I have learned the hard way over time, is that I should always treat people the same way they treat me. So if you approach me in a sweet way, then I will act sweet back. If you approach me as an asshole, then I will also be an asshole. It sounds very simple, yet it really goes beyond the scope of much people. But then again, Einstein was right when he said the two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, and I am not so sure about the universe. Of course, this brings us back about the question, how much did I say about the game since I started level 3? I guess the correct answer is nothing at all, and yet I've been talking all the time. Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. People have asked me if I never get tired of myself. Well, the only answer is continuously. Always. Yeah, I don't do that as well as Alan Rickman did in his role as Snape. However, that I get tired of myself is not because I talk too much. Maybe the reason I talk too much is might be the same why I get tired of myself. And those who don't understand me are probably people who are not very well suited for psychology. Now, when it comes to the game where you find locked doors in the free episode, then you can safely assume that you are getting pretty close to the exit. As a matter of fact, the exit is right behind me. Now, one more run to see if I can get more food or medipacks. Am I going the right way now? No. I'm not. I planned a different destination. Sterben Sie! Mutafika? That's the kind of German that I invented myself. Meaning die, motherfucker. But perhaps some German-speaking fellows could already come to that themselves. Poor soldiers shooting me. They didn't have to die. And then I would also not get an extra bonus for killing them. Getting rewarded in the end. Ah, such is the life of a soldier. Now, level 4 is actually an interesting level. And interesting enough to actually mention the game. Although my start is downright terrible. This room is already a room where you really have to watch out for, given the way the guards are placed. Luckily, it's only members of the Sturmabteilung. If you are wondering about the scores, the Sturmabteilung soldiers, the brown ones, reward you 100 points. Killing the dogs will get you 200 points. And killing the Schustaffel soldiers will get you 500 points. It all sounds a lot, but if you have already taken a very close look at my scoreboard during this entire game, then you will have seen that all scores are multiplications of 100. Which was pretty common back in the day. So basically you can just remove the last 2 zeros from the score to have the actual significant score. 2433. Well, this is just the optional part. There is a part in this level that I often call the mega kill. Hey! And being in this condition before I get to that mega kill part is not really something I like. Now the dogs only have 1 HP, so every hit will kill them. If you shoot and the dog is still alive after that, you can be sure that you missed it. I know some people really couldn't bear it to kill the dogs, but had no trouble at all with killing the human soldiers. Of course, I understand the love for dogs, but still it makes me raise an eyebrow. It makes me actually think about a joke in the Belgian comic series Suske de Wiske, in which a soldier was scolded for shooting at a cute little bunny. We have been trained to kill humans, not a cute little bunny, barbarian. That's really what the translation of what the commanding officer said in the Dutch language, of course, said to that soldier. Just to parody how people sometimes think about animal life and human life. Now this is a pretty dangerous room, as a few doors connect to the what I call mega kill room. That mega kill room has just a lot of soldiers. It is pretty hard to defend yourself against them, since the room is pretty large. You really want to avoid large rooms. You really need the walls for cover. There is also no shame in just opening a door and not passing through until all your enemies are dead. So you can use the door and the walls beside the door as your cover. Of course, that doesn't always work. But quite often that's a good idea. At least I have the key now. At least some food trays. Because now I have no more options. I must enter the mega kill room. And although the exit to the place where the elevator is pretty close by from here, yet it is wise to do take care properly of the mega kill room. After all, the soldiers can come behind you. Now it is basically only Sturmabteilung soldiers, but there is a room containing Schustaffel soldiers connected to it, and as the soldiers easily go into that room, that activates the Schustaffel soldiers as well, and well, there we have one of them. Well, at first glance it seems things did go pretty well. Although I'm pretty sure I haven't got all of them. I know that there are 4 Schustaffel soldiers and not 1. And only 1 popped up. There were 3, but at least there was not 1.
Mein Leben!
Oh, that's 4. Now let's see. I think I got everything here.
Mein Leben!
Yeah, 2 points wasted, but that is not worth the trouble to let that medipack be for. This is the way to the next room. Yes, these walls are placed that way that they do form a swastika. There is, however, a secret passage hidden in here. Of course, you can say a lot about it, but after all, this is a Nazi castle. Never forget that. Now, what is of course nice to know, soldiers can open doors, dogs cannot. Dogs are always dependent on either your help or the help of the soldiers in order to get through doors. Of course, when a door is open, they can just pass through it. Dog food is just 4% extra health. A regular food per tray is 10% health, a medipack is 25%. Now, if you are at 10% health or lower, you can also eat corpses with blood, basically just the bones with blood. And that will give you 1%, but as soon as you have reached 11% health, then you can no longer do that. It is after all a form of cannibalism, as it is human blood. And of course, when it comes to cannibalism, most humans agree on it, that it should only be done as the ultimate last resort. Of course, we have people like Hannibal who are having an old friend for dinner. But we are not assuming his role. Nice to know. Soldiers can always open locked doors, regardless if you found the key or not. And there, now in the free episodes, there will hardly be any opportunity to abuse that fact. But in the full version and in the Spear of Destiny, there are a few levels in which you can abuse that. Some levels have even been specifically designed for you to abuse that. Level 5. Basically level 5 has this central room and a lot of sub-parts, most of them optional, a few of them mandatory. Of course, when you play the game for the first time, you won't know what is mandatory, what is optional. These kind of things are the things that I meant before, by the way. If you are below 11% health, then you can drink this and get 1% health in the process. But as I'm 94 now, the hero won't do that. As far as the word hero is concerned. I mean, am I a hero now? truly speaking in the terms of this game. Come on, I'm a downright murderer. How many people did I kill already? And yes, I will get a fucking medal for it. Yeah, war is crazy. Well, this is just a game. That is why I am pretty cold-blooded about it and even cracking jokes about it, but imagine this to be real. Now, of course, originally I only had this free episode, and I always saw that secret ratio at the end of each level, and I was really wondering, would there be secret passages? Well, let's try, and this portrait of Adolf Hitler was actually the first that I tried, and boom! I immediately had one. I remember that I was really proud of myself when I discovered this. Of course, when you play the vanilla version, there are a few secret passages that you must open, or otherwise you can't. Complete the level. The second level in the second episode is already designed as such. But there is some story-wise logic behind that in that episode, but that is not important now. My more direct concern is that I don't have very much ammo. I do not like that. The ammo packs dropped by guards when they die mostly contain only 4 bullets. Ammo packs just stored in the level somewhere mostly contain 8 bullets. Now, lack of ammo was actually getting annoying rather than making the game hard. Of course, when I'm out of ammo I still have this, a knife, but your chances of survival with a knife are next to 0. So in the Spear of Destiny they also have giant bullet cases containing 25 bullets, and that was really the improvement we were all waiting for. There's always a bit of discussion what is really making a game more challenging and what is just making a game downright frustrating. Some frustrating parts are considered by some people as where the game becomes challenging. Of course, when it comes to ammo provision, it is always a bit of a debate. But some people are such no-lifers that even having to watch an RPG game the entire world map several times without any clues, when RPG developers realized that that was not really a good idea and got rid of it most of the time, there were many complaints, well, they are taking away the challenge. I don't deem that challenging, I just deem that boring. Many older RPGs have also been unfinished due to, to the aspect of wandering around the world map cluelessly. There was a third one! How long was it ago that I saved last? It was at this level and pretty close by. You! That's one.
Mein Leben! Mein Leben.
Dein Leben ist nicht wichtig. I guess I was really harsh by saying that. No, not gonna translate. It was German. Well, I got the key and this is the section leading to the exit. I'm not gonna make too much bones about things, I'm just hit the exit. Stupido! Those Stormabteilung guys right there. So why did I fall for that? Even a 3-year-old kid wouldn't fall for that. How can ik das überhaupt? Explain. Yeah, that's a kind of a mixture between German and English. Although nice to note is that the word überhaupt is also copied into the Dutch language. Even spelled the same, although the spelling rules for the word are German and not Dutch. But then again, there are many words from different languages, most notably French and English, that made their way into the Dutch language. Yeah, there is one optional part here that I will do. And why is that? Because it is a bit unique as far as the free episode of Wolfenstein is concerned. Now I already think that some people are saying that I am mispronouncing Wolfenstein. It's not Wolfenstein, it's Wolfenstein. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not Wolfenstein, but Wolfenstein. Remember, this is a German castle, not an English castle. Now, I'm not quite sure if Wolfenstein is completely correct, but always closer than the English pronunciation. Well, this secret passage is the marker of the rather unique part. It's one of the few secret passages in the free part in which you can find enemies. And it's actually pretty big. And yes, here is also a pretty big part with pretty many enemies actually. Now, not to waste bullets, let's make them come closer. The closer you are to the enemies, the more effective your gunfire will be.
Mein Leben.
Ja, ich weiß, du bist tot. Not much ammo left. Einige tote Hunden. Well, that should do. Dog's food. Yummy. I think. I really can't imagine that stuff to be tasty. But then again, I'm not a dog. For which I'm grateful. I don't want to be. The crosses are worth 100 points each. The chalices are worth, I think, 500 points each. The treasure chests, 1000 points each, and the crowns, 5000, if I remember correctly. Of course, you can always remove the last 2 zeros. Anyway, that should do it. There's one little trap waiting for me. Surprise!
Leben!
Or should I say, Überraschung? Anyway, dein Leben ist vorbei. And so is this level. Did that make sense grammatically? No. But I don't care. Time to go to level 6. Yeah, level 6 is one of the levels in which you have to get into action immediately. As far as the free episode, which I'm still in, of course, as this entire video is only about the free episode. That's only level 6 and 7. At least in the hard mode. There are a few more in the commercial episodes. Now, I've always hated level 6 a bit, as it is one of the levels that is set up in a way that makes it a bit harder in some way. I don't really know what does it. But I always have a bit trouble getting past level 6, at least in the in this episode, and especially when I play the hard mode. Personally, I do think that the levels 7 and 8 are a lot easier, and 9 is of course the boss level, since a completely different approach needs to be taken to that due to being a boss level. I won't count that one. Ja, dein Leben ist vorbei. Entschuldigung. Es ist nicht persönlich. Yeah, this is very nice. The room behind this and the room behind this have the same floor number, and both contain a guard. Do you know what that means? I explained it before. That is that shooting this guard would of course activate the guard in the other room. Now, when it comes to the usage of floor codes in order to activate guards that you cannot see, then you will have a few booby traps later in the game, or at least in the paid episodes, in which this aspect has been abused a bit more. Or used, whatever you want. Yeah, this is also something that I don't like. I have to go to one end of the level to get the key, and now I have to go to a completely deserted part of the level. Everyone is dead after all. In order to get to the locked door. That is really something that I always recommend people to avoid when they get into game developing themselves. Yeah, I am bothered by a lot of emails that I don't want to see lately, and mud popped up. So that made me react a bit odd. But it is very likely that the recording software didn't pick that up. It was nothing personal anyway, so it wouldn't matter if it did. A very useful trick to use sometimes. Just show yourself and get back. Save the bullet and the enemy will eventually come to you. The big trick in Doom to make enemies fight each other won't work in Wolfenstein. So don't even try it. There are two shoestaffels here. And now I need some medipacks. And as soon as I start level 7, you will immediately see why. I actually wanted more health, not less. I guess I'm in for a rough ride. But there is a secret passage. At least. Yeah, it's only just one. Jeroen, what are you doing? You can never make it past the start of the 7th level with that little health. Well, hold my watered down horse piss. Yeah, I refuse to call that stuff beer. Hey, not a single point of damage. Of course, you should never have done this if you are not as well practiced as I am. Of course, when you are playing this under the easier difficulty settings, those cards wouldn't be here, so then it wouldn't matter. Yes, this locked door would imply that I would once again have to go through one end of a level and go the entire way back. Well, at least level 7 is better designed than that. It is actually one of the better designed levels of the entire game. Yes, the commercial episodes included. That of course makes this level both hard and easy. But also pretty enjoyable. Which is after a bad designed level or poorly designed level such as level 6, actually a bit of a relief.
Mein Leben!
There are only 2 secret passages in this level, and I'm going to open them both. Now, when I only had the 3 episodes, there was even only 1 in here. I'm not quite sure if the second secret passage is an extra gift for having purchased the full game, or if it was actually a bug because my free version was of an earlier version than and this is the second passage. This one would not open on me in the fully free version of the game I had. I have actually never checked the version numbers. Yeah, the full version I have is 1.1. It could be that the free version I have is 1.0, and perhaps that is where the difference lies. There are basically 2 locked doors. The other one being there, and that is the one close to the entrance. And that is why I said that this was much better designed. Next, level 8, and that is of course the final regular level, as level 9 is where I will meet the boss. Level 8, there's not much to say about it when it comes to commentary. To play it, it was actually a pretty interesting level. Yes, I knew that. Otherwise I wouldn't have wasted my bullets on them. Well, at the start it looks a bit like the same setup as level 6, but no, 8 is much better designed. And this is only an ammo storage room. I just wanted to prevent him from sneaking up on me from behind. I'd like to block this door, if I can. And if I can kill him right in the opening of the door. He will block the door. Of course, in Doom, he will just be crushed under the weight of the door. Rise of the Triad makes it even more violent. But hey, this was one of the first games of its kind. And this is why I have much better defenses from here, only 1 door. Not to worry too much about health loss. I got my backup for that close by. That actually went easier than I could have imagined. get that. I did hear. Yes. Now, not to worry about my health, I'm not even going to pick up that health pack. Because es gibt eine Überraschung in diese Geheimgang. Don't mind me speaking German every once in a while. The game takes place in Germany after all.
Mein Leben!
That... this is just an optional part. This center part, there are guards walking around it, so having a quick walk around it myself to make sure I got them all killed is a good idea. Basically, this is supposed to be the sleeping barracks of the soldiers. After all, those German soldiers were also human, and humans need sleep. Those are the kind of details that does make the level design interesting, if you only have an eye enough to see it. And, well, this would basically be I guess the room for our personal hygiene. And of course, a room for eating. Now this is a chain of secret passages, and thanks to this chain, this is actually the level with the most secret passages of this episode. It is not the level with the most secret passages in the entire game. That honor belongs to the 8th level of the 2nd episode. That had to do with a little Easter egg that didn't work out so well, but I will explain more about that in the specific video about that episode. reason for taking that mirror or extra life sphere is merely because it counts as a treasure. I've never been quite sure if it was a good idea to include those things as treasures. What makes this level a bit poor designed is if you miss the key, then you have one hell of a stroll back. This is the only locked door in this entire level. And of course, all that is left for me now to do is to kill the boss. It's the only enemy in this level. In the other episodes, there are also regular enemies in boss levels, but here we only have the boss. Well, the boss will attack me as soon as I open the door at the other side of this hall. However, before I get into that, this swastika hides a secret passage. Perhaps one of the most important secret passages of the game. And here I can replenish all my health and here a chain gun and lots of ammo, and that is all I have. At recovery during the boss fight. Well, let's go for it.
Guten Tag.
Now what he said to me was Guten Tag, which means good day in German. The name of this boss is Hans Gruus. Now, the boss of the 5th episode is Gretel Gruus, his sister.
Mutti.
Which is of course a reference to Hansel und Gretel, the famous fairy tale by the Grimm brothers. Now what he said when he died was actually Mutti, which means mommy in German. And Mutter means mother, and Mutti is basically a kind of affectionate form of that. Well, I no longer need any more ammo or anything, as this is the only only enemy that was left. And Gruus means big, or in German. Well, I guess he is kinda big. Not that this mirror is of any use, given its location. And don't think it's even possible to get it while the boss is still alive. I deem your chances that you succeed practically nil. Well, the boss dropped a key. Only Hans Gruus and Gretel Gruus drop a key. The other bosses will instantly end the game. Of course, that has to do with storyline things. And here it is, of course, only that I had to escape the castle. In Gretel Gruus' case, it's also a storyline reason why it was only the key. In all the other episodes, killing the boss itself was the actual target of the mission. And the game ends. Well, when I get to walk,
Yeah!
I made my escape. Yeah! Yeah, you run up to the you run out of the castle and hook up with the underground. They inform you that the rumors spread through some hideous human experience were seen around Castle Hollehammer. So Operation Eisenfaust is real. You must journey and terminate the maniacal Dr. Schaap's before his undead army marches against humanity. Well, I will of course go a bit more in the deep of that in that actual episode, but yeah, there really are undead soldiers in episode 2. And the episode is actually a reference to the human experiments that the real life Nazi Germany people did. And this is just a kind of the sales pitch for the other Wolfenstein games. And of course that is where it ends for this video. Next time, same channel, same time, I will discuss the second episode, and the week after that the third, and so on and so on. So stay tuned. Take care of yourself and for each other, and goodbye, and what shall I call it? Doodles!